Alors, aujourd'hui, on va réviser les compléments d'objets directs et indirects and review the object pronouns le, la, les we did last spring. Le, la, les, pourquoi? N'oubliez pas qu'on peut parler des personnes et des choses, des objets avec le, la, les personnes et les choses. Le est masculin, une personne masculine ou une chose. Marc, le stylo, ce crayon, son livre. La est féminin. Sophie, la pizza, cette glace, ta maison. L'apostrophe, masculin ou féminin, mais avant une voyelle. Et puis les, pluriel, oui. Marc et Sophie, les stylos, ses hamburgers, mes amis. Alors en anglais, le et la, n'oubliez pas que c'est him, her, et it, since it can be for a thing or a person. Et puis les, them. Exemple. Tu regardes la télé? Oui, je la regarde. What is the la replacing? Qu'est-ce que la remplace? La télé. Tu connais Sarah? Oui, je la connais. Qu'est-ce que la remplace? Sarah. Tu aimes le film? Oui, je l'aime. L'apostrophe, qu'est-ce que c'est? Le film. Tu as les stylos rouges? Oui, je les ai. Les, qu'est-ce que c'est? Les stylos rouges. Why are we using these? Could I say tu regardes la télé? Oui, je regarde la télé. Yes. This is just a way to not repeat ourselves, right? Because what if we kept saying, do you watch TV? Do you like TV? What did you watch on TV? Is the TV nice? Is the TV big? It's a lot of TV, right? Instead, I can say, I watch it. I like it. So that's the whole purpose of using these, right? Get rid of this word and change it to le, la, le. Do you know Sarah? Yes, I know her. Okay. But where do they go again? Quelle est la place correcte pour le, la, le? Avec un verbe. Juste avant le verbe. Je le regarde. Si cette phrase est négative, c'est aussi avant le verbe. Je ne le regarde pas. What have you always known since French 1 about the negative? Ne pas sandwich, right? Ne pas goes around the verb. But with le, la, le and all your object pronouns, those have to be the closest thing to the verb. Avec deux verbes. Juste avant verbe de. Je vais le regarder. So the le, la, le goes right before the second verb. You're going to see two verbs with sentences like I'm going to watch TV or I like to watch TV. J'aime regarder la télé. I want to watch TV. Je veux regarder la télé. Négatif. Je ne vais pas le regarder. Again, just since the beginning of French, where's the ne pas always gone? Before verb 1. Or, sorry, it's always gone around verb 1. So, je ne vais pas. Ne pas around verb 1. The le, la, le comes before verb 2. That never changes. You want to make a command, l'impératif. Attacher le, la, le après le verbe. Look at him, regarde-le, or look at it, regarde-le. It's the only time that you can put le, la, le after the verb is if you're making a command or telling someone what to do. Otherwise, it's always before. With a negative command, it's back to its normal spot before the verb. Don't look at him. Ne le regarde pas. Rules for passé composé. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait pour le passé composé? Le, la, le est toujours avant avoir. Ne pas va autour d'avoir. Et le verbe doit faire l'accord, masculin, féminin, pluriel. So when we've done passé composé before, the le, la, le always goes right before avoir. Négatif, ne pas, always been around the avoir. Now the le, la, le is closest to avoir though. Tu as regardé Sarah? Oui, je l'ai regardé. I used avoir. Why do I have an extra E here? We don't usually make agreement with passé composé with avoir verbs. If we use le, la, le here in passé composé, that's the third bullet, we're going to make agreement at the end of the verb. Just like we talked about last year, is it super important? I mean, yes, to make it absolutely correct French. But like I said last year, I'll see French people that even forget that they have to do that. And in most cases, if you're speaking, you can't hear the difference. There's a few verbs when you speak that it makes it the pronunciation different, but mostly it doesn't. So we're going to try to get a little bit better at this year, and at least you recognize it. But again, this is a little more advanced thing. Tu as vu tes amis? Non, je ne les ai pas vus. Les for avoir, ne pas around the avoir, vu as the S, because les is plural. Louis and leur. Most of what we just talked about with le la is exactly the same. But how are we going to decide when we should use Louis leur as opposed to le la? Louis and leur remplace a avec les noms et c'est toujours pour les personnes. Louis and leur is only for people, not things, whereas le la is for people and things. And here we're always going to have an a or a form of a, right? O, A-U or O, A-U-X. Louis est singulier, singular, masculin et féminin. Et leur est pluriel. So there's only two forms here, singular, plural. Singulier, pluriel. Why did we put two in parentheses? Remember in English, we don't always say two in the same place French people say two or a. For example, in French, je téléphone à Sarah. In English, we don't say I call to Sarah, we say I call Sarah. But in French, we say I call to Sarah, je téléphone à Sarah. So because the verb téléphoner has a, we need to use lui. Je lui téléphone. Exemple, tu écris à Sarah? Oui, je lui écris. What's the lui replacing? À Sarah. Could I say tu écris à Sarah? Oui, j'écris à Sarah. Yes, but we don't need to continue to say yes, I write to Sarah. I can say yes, I write to her. Je lui écris. Tu parles à Marc? Oui, je lui parle. So Louis can replace a girl or a boy, right? It's for masculine and feminine. Tu téléphones à tes grands-parents? Oui, je leur téléphone. What's leur replacing? À tes grands-parents. Tu parles à Marc et Sarah? Oui, je leur parle. So leur is plural, Louis is singular. And we talked about this last year, passé composé with Louis and leur. You don't need to do masculine, feminine, plural like you did with le la. So, par exemple, voici Sarah. Je lui ai téléphoné hier soir, but je l'ai vu. So, je lui ai téléphoné. What's the Louis replacing? Sarah. But we didn't make téléphoné feminine, because with the Louis, we don't need to do that. Je l'ai vu. This L apostrophe is Sarah, and we did put the E here. Voici mes copains. Je leur ai parlé hier, je les ai vus. Leur is plural, but I didn't make agreement here because I don't need to do that with leur. Je les ai vus. I had to put an S on vu because with les, that is replacing mes copains, it's plural. And here are some common verbs that use Louis and leur. Of course, there's going to be more, and they come up from time to time. If you go on in French and do more, but these are some common ones that we're going to keep practicing in French. Make sure that you know what they mean too, so you can use them, right? Écrire, parler, rendre visite, répondre, téléphoner, acheter, demander, dire, donner, emprunter, montrer, prêter. Remember that these all have a, and they all have some kind of an exchange, whether it's an exchange in conversation, like écrire, writing to someone, so you're exchanging information, conversation, or an exchange of actual physical things, right? To give something to someone, donner, give the phone to someone. Sometimes some of these could be used with Louis leur or le la, right? For acheter, for example, acheter is to buy for. So, j'achète la robe à ma mère. I buy the dress for my mom. I'm going to replace my mom with Louis, but I would replace the dress with la. And voila.